Hey, Wrestling World, keep up with the culture and listen to this episode in full on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Make sure to give us a follow on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook and fall under the influence.
What's going on with it? Welcome back to Cultural Influence. We got a good fun episode for you guys lined out today. We're going to talk about Money in the Bank. He described it as the cheat code to get a main eventer wrestler. Yeah. Seth Rollins and AJ Styles, that was the first time they locked horns in WWE. That was in 2019. Money in the Bank was also the first time we saw AJ Styles and John Cena lock horns. Yeah. AJ might have a case for Mr. Money in the Bank by not being in the Money in the Bank. Because those were bangers, man. That was a great match.
I think the Money in the Bank briefcase has just been casualty to poor booking. Thank you, Tony Khan. Thank you, Tony Khan. Everybody and they mama have asked for this match the moment Bryan Danielson left WWE, bro. It's going to happen at Wembley. It's going to be lit anyway. You know what I'm saying? So this would be a great follow-up. Like this card is going to be so good. It doesn't need one of the most raucous crowds in the world.
What's going on with it? Welcome back to Cultural Influence. We got a good fun episode for you guys lined out today. We're going to talk about Money in the Bank because I think besides WrestleMania season, Money in the Bank is probably a good season of wrestling for most wrestling fans.
It's definitely my top three pay-per-views, man. It's Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Money in the Bank.
Yeah, and I like how you said those three, and it's not even in the big four. Because when you talk about big four of wrestling, we got Royal Rumble, you got WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. None of those things include Money in the Bank.
Listen, man, I definitely look forward to Money in the Bank way more than Survivor Series at this point. SummerSlam's a solid number 4 on my list, though.
It is. Yeah. Like that season, because once again, like we talked about it in that last episode, where when WrestleMania season is over, it's kind of like it's like a slight letdown because wrestling kind of hits that stale period, and SummerSlam being in June or in this case July 1st, it brings up that excitement and getting ready for SummerSlam.
Yeah, most definitely, because it's like you said, it's that little post WrestleMania lull, and then you get that little spike of energy that is the Money in the Bank, and it's always so fun. The matches are always lit. Some of your favorite wrestlers are always included in the match, even though they probably won't win. Because normally every year you could tell who's the top candidate for going.
Exactly.
But you never really know who's gonna win.
Yeah, and I'm just proud to see that Money in the Bank has become so important to the wrestling story that is WWE, man. Because a lot of guys, you don't, the Royal Rumble's only once a year, know, and so there's only one lucky person who can win that. But the Money in the Bank, as we've seen, as we'll talk about later on in the show, there's been multiple Money in the Bank matches within one calendar year.
Yeah, and I was never really against having multiple Money in the Bank winners. It was how they used it. Yeah, and I will say in recent years it hasn't been used the best.
Yeah. And in some cases, shout out to Brian Gerwitz. He described it as the cheat code to get a main eventer wrestler.
Yeah, and I'm with it because it definitely puts that new can of paint over a wrestler who you think might not be ready for that next step.
Exactly. Yeah, and it makes it believable.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Just some notable matches that's not Money in the Bank related that I just remember taking place that I'm just thinking as we're talking was Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. That was the first time they locked horns in WWE. That was in 2019.
Wow.
And that's crazy to think, man, because I'm like, you think about Seth Rollins and you think about AJ Styles. They just shout outs to their match, Night of Champions. Very great match. AJ still wanted you to win, but Seth Rollins, you holding your own. Yeah. He deserved it. I mean, nobody else but Seth. But, man, that was just one of the matches that I thought about that was like, yo, that did happen on a Money in the Bank. Yeah. Is there any matches that you think that wasn't Money in the Bank related that took place on that night?
I had the privilege of going to Money in the Bank, I want to say 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When it was in Texas, and we got to see...
first pay-per-view outside of the pandemic, so say it with pride, man.
You're right. I was there, baby. Big Texas, Big T. But yeah, we got to see that. Watched my boy Big E win the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Oh, yeah.
Watched... that was actually where the Usos began their historic tag team run. They beat the Mysterios, and boy, they were over like gangbusters that night.
Wow.
And then, of course, John Cena returned to make his make the match for him and Roman at SummerSlam that year. So it was a super big show.
Roman and Edge had that singles match too.
They
man.
did.
Yeah.
Bobby washed my boy Kofi.
Oh, he sure did. That was how they wrote Kofi off. Oh man,
tough night.
I like how all the memories is just coming out the more and more we talk. That's the unique thing about this, man. And I'm just now another idea just popped up in my mind. This might be an early candidate for Mr. Money in the Bank, but Money in the Bank was also the first time we saw AJ Styles and John Cena lock horns.
Yeah.
That was in 2016. So, hey, man, AJ might have a case for Mr. Money in the Bank by not being in the Money in the Bank. Because those were bangers, man. That was a great match. It was the beginning of a trilogy of matches between Cena and AJ. Like, I'm forever grateful to have witnessed that. Because if you would have told me in 2013 that AJ Styles and John Cena would have a trilogy of matches and AJ Styles would be a mainstay in WWE, I'd have looked at you and laughed.
Yeah. I mean, he's nearing almost 10 years at this point, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So
wow.
that might be an early candidate for Mr. Money in the Bank. Just saying. But let's go ahead and talk about, because I think there's been, like, we kind of talked about it earlier with Seth Rollins, the World Heavyweight title, the Money in the Bank pretty much being for the World Heavyweight Championship, because Roman Reigns have kind of held the world title scene. He's kind of held it hostage, should you say? Yeah. He's held it hostage for the last 3 years. Roman has really held the WWE Championship for a little over a year now.
Yeah.
So that last year, as you just said with Austin Theory, that kind of made it really just made it hard.
Yeah.
It suffocated it. So, like, do you think? Okay, would you say this? Is the Money in the Bank a casualty to the Tribal Chief run?
Definitely. Definitely. But also, I think the Money in the Bank briefcase has just been casualty to poor booking. The Money in the Bank used to feel like it was so important, but in recent years, it's kind of felt like an afterthought. And even when they split it into a pay-per-view and you had 2 Money in the Bank winners that are males, and then you had one that was a woman, it still felt like an afterthought. They haven't really done anything with it. Like, I can't think of a last really good Big E's was cool.
Big E's was cool.
Big E's was cool, but it felt very anticlimactic. It was just like they were just doing something that Monday, Yeah,
I mean, like, Big E's was cool, but I kind of the fact that they gave it to Otis only to let the Miz get it, and then the Miz cashed it. Like, it led to Bobby's run, but just seeing the Miz hold the WWE title during the pandemic era, I thought that was pretty cool. But
that was fun, but Otis winning that Money in the Bank, and that was a really good match. That pandemic Money in the Bank, it was so fun to watch. You know what I'm saying? Watching them go up the tower and all the crap that was going on in that match, it was epic. And the Otis winning was a cool moment because, he was doing the stuff with Mandy Rose and all that.
And he was still a tag team guy.
Yeah, but nobody in their right minds believed that Otis was going to be world champion at that point.
They did.
It seemed like a very unlikely thing to happen, and they proved it right, which kind of made that whole Money in the Bank thing pointless that year.
Yeah, for real. I mean, then, like, Asuka ended up winning the Raw Women's Championship because Becky got pregnant and stuff.
Yeah, she ended up just being the champion. Like, the Money Bank has definitely suffered from poor booking decisions over the last couple of years, and Roman Reigns. Yeah,
I mean, I think the pandemic also, Money in the Bank suffered that year from the pandemic. Like, they tried something so different, but it even affected the winners.
Yeah. But like I said, the match was good. It was just the Miz could have won that. I don't understand why they did what they did, because when you talk about Otis's career, you're not really. I mean, I guess you're going to call him a Money in the Bank winner, but are you a Money in the Bank winner if you didn't win the championship? It's kind of an empty stat to have on your resume if you don't win the championship.
Agree. Yeah, man. So let's go ahead and segue into it, man. The king of the Money in the Bank. I think we just said it right there. Otis isn't the king. He isn't in the conversation. Yeah. So whenever I say, like, Mr. Money in the Bank, man, I gotta think. My mind goes to one guy, and I think it's obvious. Like I don't think it's not fair, and I don't think, and some people will disagree with me, but Edge is one of the first guys that come to my mind here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Edge is the man that put Money in the Bank on the map.
Yeah. And it was the first match. Then, of course, like, I believe he got another one because Mr. Kennedy had got injured, and he beat Mr. Kennedy for it. He cashed in on Undertaker, therefore launching that SmackDown, that Edge on SmackDown run, which was just wow. That was that was a ride within its own. And, like, Money in the Bank, that Money in the Bank launched it. Like if it wasn't for Money in the Bank, him getting it from Mr. Kennedy, that wouldn't have launched the Edge on SmackDown that people know and love.
Yeah, and I feel like from here on out, well, I don't know. It's hard to say because as the years go on, you get further away from Edge.
You do.
Because it's hard to think that first Money in the Bank match was in 2005.
Yeah, man.
That was over 15 years ago at this point.
Agree.
You know what
We're
I'm saying?
Approaching 20 years because in 2025 it'll be 20 years. Oh my God.
That's wild, right?
Oh my God.
And so I find it's harder for me to associate Money in the Bank with Edge the further we get
That's
away
why I said it's
from
not
his
fair.
more recent cash-ins, you know. And so I think about more recent guys like Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins had one of the greatest cash-ins we've ever seen.
Agree.
You know?
Agree.
And then I think about guys like CM Punk. CM Punk legit won Money in the Bank match not once, but twice.
Back to back.
Edge cashed in twice, but CM Punk won 2 of them things.
He did.
I was there for one, WrestleMania 29.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yo, and we were there for when he cashed in on Batista.
We were. Yes, we were. That was my first Raw.
Yeah.
That was my first Raw moment, man.
Facts. And so, I don't know. Like, you got to think about those two guys, and then you got to think about the most must-see WWE superstar of all of WWE.
Oh my gosh.
The Miz.
Yeah, The Miz.
We mentioned it earlier. He somehow got the briefcase from Otis, but then he also won the briefcase himself. So he also is a 2-time casher of the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah.
So I think he deserves a bit recognition for being Mr. Money in the Bank, you know?
He does. Now, when I say Mr. Money in the Bank, do you think we should, as far as like the criteria, because there's no real open criteria, do you think like being able to make it meanable and to give these real close teases with the briefcase, do you think that should go into it?
Yeah, and definitely the cash in itself.
Yeah, because I think like with Seth Rollins, because a lot of people, I remember that run so well because I remember Seth Rollins was fighting at the Royal Rumble with, fighting for the WWE Championship, and he had the Money in the Bank. So it was just like, yo, what the fuck,
Seth was on fire that year.
Yeah, and I remember just being 15 and just like, yo, why? I mean, like why? And that was a banger match. Don't get me wrong, John Cena, Brock Lesnar.
Seth, right?
Yeah, that was a banger match.
And then that year at the WrestleMania, he had probably the greatest RKO we've ever seen at that. Seth Rollins in 2000. What year was that?
Yeah, that was 2015.
Seth Rollins in 2015 is like
that's a bag
on another level, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, facts. Agree.
Seth Rollins 2015 was in his bag, bro.
And the fact that he had that Money in the Bank with him, that makes his case pretty strong.
He was a great Money in the Bank holder, man. So he's up there. And then you know who else had a really good run with Money in the Bank?
Who?
Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler did. He did.
When Dolph Ziggler had Money in the Bank, and he had his little faction with AJ Lee
and Big E,
they just felt so legit and official. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It felt like a real force, and not to mention that amazing cash in on Alberto Del Rio.
Was that a Raw after Mania too?
I think it was a Raw after Mania, and he held it for a good while. So you knew it was coming.
Didn't he drop it at the pay-per-view though?
Unfortunately, he got hurt. Remember, he had got a concussion, and he had to drop it and all that good stuff. So it didn't end the best of ways, but his Money in the Bank run was very, very good.
Yeah, it does. I don't know why that gets lost in the shuffle with me. Sometimes I only remember I remember the cash in, but I don't really just remember him just teasing it so much. Now,
did we come to a conclusion on who we feel is Mr. Money in the Bank?
No, we didn't, man. We're just I think Seth Rollins is a strong guy. You said Edge, but as time goes on, we're getting closer to 20 years since Edge first won it, obviously. So that means Money in the Bank is going to be 20 years old, which is crazy to think. So, I believe that if we're just boiling it down, there's Edge, there's Seth Rollins, maybe The Miz, and maybe Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
Out of those four, who you think we getting it to?
I mean, like I said, Edge put it on the map, so I gotta go with Edge. When Edge cashed in on John Cena at New Year's Revolution, you gotta remember he had won that at that first Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania that year. So he had held it all the way to that January, terrorizing the entire roster. He went on a tear, but that moment he cashed in the New Year's Revolution, Edge became the rated R superstar. You know what I'm saying? He became an instant main eventer that moment, because before that, I always viewed Edge as an intercontinental level guy.
Interesting.
Because when I first started watching wrestling, he was a tag team wrestler, you know, kind of a mid-card guy. So it really got him over that hump and made him a believable threat. And from that moment on, Edge was made, you know. And
Edge was made.
You got to thank Money in the Bank for that, you know.
Valid. Okay, man. So Edge is the undisputed king as of now. You know what?
He made the blueprint.
You are right. The trajectory, and you know, he pretty much gave it. It was made for a heel, should you say? You know?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. That leads me to a part. That leads me to a thought. Who are some people that you think should have won Money in the Bank?
Who are some people that I should have thought? Okay, that's pretty tough, man, because I think, like, you know, when I became when Money in the Bank was pretty much established when my fandom started coming. You know what I'm saying? Like you saying Edge, that made him an established star. I've always known Edge as an established star. True. You know what I'm saying? My earliest wrestling memories are 2005, 2006. So I've always seen Edge as a bigger guy. But when I think about it, man, you know, I got to think of the charismatic enigma, Jeff Hardy, you know?
Yeah.
I could, he was, rumor has it that he was supposed to win it at WrestleMania 24, 2008 down in Orlando, Florida. And, you know, as we talk about in our Wrestling with Addiction episode, you know, addiction is a cold piece, man. And Jeff Hardy couldn't get it.
Yeah. I feel like Jeff is somebody that feels like Money in the Bank is tailor-made for.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Same like when RVD won it. That was like somebody that you was just like, oh yeah, that's a Money in the Bank candidate right there, you know? And can you imagine the Jeff Hardy briefcase, what that would have looked like?
Oh my gosh,
bro,
yes.
Like,
with the paint on it and stuff.
But when I think about people that I feel should have won Money in the Bank, at the top of that list always comes Shelton Benjamin.
Oh, valid, yeah.
You know, Shelton Benjamin was on a roll. He was the walking highlight reel of WWE at that moment. He had, you know, ran through Evolution, you know, really was just one step away from being a main event guy.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know what's crazy? Sheldon would have been a guy that could have benefited from the cheat code.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like whenever you describe a cheat code, you think of someone like, you know, that could get you there without really filling in the extra stuff. And then when you look at Shelton, you see some things, but you see some things just aren't there yet.
Yeah.
And then giving him that Money in the Bank would have been the extra recipe to get him there.
I definitely.
Yeah.
So I feel like him never winning that, but constantly being in the matches to make a moment, you know, it was always kind of a letdown. So I always think about Shelton Benjamin, and then I also think about Kofi.
Oh my gosh, you're right, bruh. Yeah, Kofi could have won Money in the Bank, man. Yeah,
a few times over. They were like, you know, when you look back at it, like Damian Sandow won it, but Shelton Benjamin and Kofi Kingston and Jeff Hardy didn't.
Yeah, it's crazy to think Jericho didn't win it either, man.
Jericho didn't need it, but it was a great idea.
I think Jericho could have benefited from one.
Yeah,
I think a 08 Jericho, like when he was like heel and stuff like that with the Money in the Bank, that would have been money. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's really dope to come up with an idea that makes careers that you never needed.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's a flex on Jericho.
Yeah, that's a super flex. You know what I'm saying? Chris Jericho, like y'all, Chris Jericho's sons out there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all his babies, yo. Y'all wouldn't even be where y'all at if it wasn't for Chris Jericho, man.
Yeah.
So I can't think of anybody else, you know.
I mean, I think if Ricochet I think Ricochet is going to be in that conversation later.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Ricochet is going to win it in the next year or two.
I'll put Shinsuke in there too.
You think you'll put Shinsuke in there?
I could put Shinsuke in there, somebody that could have won Money in the Bank, you know.
I don't want to say that because Shinsuke has a Rumble under his belt.
He does.
So I don't want to say that.
Don't get me started on that because freaking Del Rio won the Money in the Bank and I don't even want to cuss, but you know, and the Royal Rumble in the same damn year.
He sure did.
Like WWE, stop trying to make Alberto Del Rio a thing. It's not going to happen.
It's obvious they saw something in him though.
And damn it, they tried. But it's like, bro, if a man needs to win the Royal Rumble and Money in the Bank in the same year, it's like, okay. Y'all talk about Roman getting pushed down our throat. Jesus Christ, bro.
That was, oh my gosh, I forgot all about that, dude.
We've had some pretty lackluster Money in the Bank winners, man. So I'm gonna ask you this one question. Mm-hmm. Who, in your opinion, is the worst Money in the Bank winner, and when did Money in the Bank not feel as important to you anymore?
Man, I think I want to say, I don't want to say Sheamus 2015, but that's probably, I don't know why that popped up in my head because I think Sheamus, like, That was Sheamus' second WWE title run.
Was it? I'm not sure.
It was, I believe so. But Sheamus was a dude that popped up in my mind. I loved Baron Corbin, but just seeing how that whole situation went down and seeing where Baron Corbin is now, that's a name that's popping up in my head. And it's crazy those years are like literally back to back, you know, because like Baron Corbin was 2016 and then freaking Sheamus was 2015.
Yeah.
Man, I think that's about it. You know what? You're right. No, John Cena.
Thank you.
John Cena.
Because why does John Cena have Money in the Bank?
Yeah, like why is that under his belt?
He's
man?
John Cena.
Yeah, he cashed it in on a Raw 1000th episode, only to lose. Now, like he lost, which made it somewhat, I guess okay. Like
it's not okay because you could have made somebody.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? John Cena didn't need to lose Money in the Bank, but. So while you said John Cena, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think that. I think it was dead before it got to John Cena.
You think it was dead? Okay, who's that?
Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger.
No, I like the Jack though.
Hey, listen,
Perry, Oklahoma.
I'm an Oklahoma boy. I got my
saying.
Oklahoma pride, but that Oklahoma man's made that Money Bank run mean jack crap, yo.
He did,
and I really wanted to like it. Oh, I wanted to like it so bad, but like Jack Swagger won it and nothing happened from it. It was just.
Yeah.
And mind you, he won the championship that year.
He did. He cashed in on Jericho and stuff, man. Like, oh my gosh. I remember that. Like, that feud with Big Show was just, ugh.
Yeah, you know, they had him trying to sell the swaggy, the sandwich and all that.
I thought that was cool.
I thought it was funny because we're from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah. But that's when it kind of first lost its luster to me, you know? And then when you got known living Hall of Famers winning it, like Randy Orton, John Cena, Brock Lesnar.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about Brock.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And I feel like that all started with Jack Swagger.
Yeah, it tainted it, man. It tainted it.
Because before that, it was up and coming guys getting it. You know, I remember Daniel Bryan when he won Money in the Bank.
That was a great
one. He cashed
I remember
it,
that, yeah.
And the no movement, that started like the whole Daniel Bryan rise. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like people that need to win Money in the Bank should win Money in the Bank. You know, Seth Rollins should never win Money in the Bank again.
He should never win Money in the Bank.
Roman Reigns should never win Money in the Bank.
Don't say that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like somebody like Bobby Lashley shouldn't win money. Like, Bobby Lashley winning it would be cool, but because Bobby Lashley's still kind of a person that people don't view as he constantly wins.
Yeah, true,
you know?
true. Yeah.
But John Cena, Brock, and Randy getting it was a slap in the face.
Yeah, because they always find themselves in the main event picture, no matter what.
Exactly.
Like Bobby, you can't just magically just put Bobby in the main event picture with no real legit explanation or just no pedigree.
You're right. I mean, you could, but you know, for some reason,
not as easy as John Cena and Randy and Brock. You know,
yeah. Like, what is your favorite cash in?
My favorite cash in, man. I'm probably going to be biased here, but definitely CM Punk cashing in on Edge at my first Raw. Like I think that's me being personally biased. But if we're just being honest, I think the universal one loved is the one that we talked about with Seth Rollins, of course.
Seth Rollins
cashing in, making it a triple threat, technically, pinning Roman and not Brock.
Yeah.
Kind of, I thought that was pretty cool, but like that's a universally liked one. But my personal favorite would probably be the one where I was at my first Raw. You know what I'm saying?
That was lit, right?
Yeah, like that was my first Raw. Like I thought I would like me being 8, I'm like, I'm not going to see nothing cool probably, but like seeing that like that was the opening segment of Raw.
Yeah,
because like Edge came out because he had got drafted to SmackDown and he's like talking trash and stuff like that. Batista comes out, beats the brakes off,
washes him.
Yeah, so it's like an 8-year-old me is just sucking all of this up like, yo, what the hell? Because I'm our personal story, but I wanted to see Jeff Hardy. I'm going there with that song,
bro, because they drafted Jeff Hardy the week before. Oh my god, they moved him to SmackDown
the week before I go to Raw to see my first Raw to go see my favorite wrestler. Jeff Hardy gets drafted to freaking SmackDown.
It would be shiesty, bro. They knew what I wanted.
That was the weirdest thing because I remember like because they just did that animated picker, and I'm like, bro, some reason they're going to say Jeff Hardy, and I saw that graphic open up with Jeff Hardy's face, and I just said, I can't win nothing. I was like the ultimate defeat as a kid, man, for me. Like
it's all good. We made it though. We met him eventually. You
know for sure.
That's our man.
Met my man twice, you feel me? Yeah. Shout outs, North Carolina, you feel me?
Yeah, facts. Man, all right, so it's really hard because I like a lot of cash-ins, because they're always exciting. Yeah. But I think if I had to guess my favorite one, it might be the Dolph Ziggler one. That was right. Like the energy of the crowd, the pop and everything, and just the just how lit Dolph was for it. You know what I'm saying? He was so strong. But if it's like a close second, bro, RVD.
Oh my gosh, you are right. Yes. And you know what's a hidden cash in? That we'll go back to that. But Dean Ambrose. Remember when he won it, man, and he cashed in at the same Money in the Bank that he won?
Oh snap! The same night where all the Shield.
Yes, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was so like that. I think that deserves like an honorable mention that a lot of people forget.
Yeah. Because the night all of them were champions.
Yeah, because like Roman went into the match.
That was a nice Seth beat Roman.
Yeah, you're right. clean, might I add. Oh my God, you're right. Yeah. So that was a great cash in, gosh. But back to the RVD one, I think for ECW fans, I think that was a good moment too, because like it was just a feel good moment for the like for that time, like looking back, and because like obviously I was 6 and I was like, oh cool RVD, but like now as I got older and I saw the importance behind it, I'm just like, that like. If I was one of those Philadelphia crowds like that went to ECW in the 90s and stuff like that, and I was there to see that live, I'd be crying.
Yeah, bro, it was amazing. Like I talked about with the Dolphin, but the atmosphere, John Cena walking into enemy territory with his head down, holding the championship up, bro, he looked like he was just going into like the fight of his life, and boy was he.
Yes. Yes.
And so the crowd was super anti-Cena. They were pro RVD, and just them throwing the shirt back at him, bro,
like multiple times.
It was insanity. And so when you finally have the masked guy come in and spear, and then he takes the helmet off, and his Edge was a heel up to that point, but he was the most over baby face of the entire show.
Yeah, he was. And Edge we trust.
After he speared him through that table, and then RVD gets up, hits the 5-star, and finally becomes WWE champion. Oh my. You know what? That's number one. That's my number one cash.
That's your number one cash, man. Well, guys, that's it for this Money in the Bank preview. Hope you guys liked it. This topic will be revisited in the future. And also, as I just teased, the Money in the Bank potentially being a casualty, please check out our video. We got a whole series going on where we rank the opponents of Roman Reigns. And obviously, I think this bad boy here, might be a casualty of the tribal chief front. So
it definitely is.
Go ahead and check that out. But let's go ahead and get ready for hot tags. What's going on with it, guys? Welcome back to Cultural Influence. We are back with another good episode of Hot Tags. Hot tags and shout outs to TikTok. Let me go ahead and just get that TikTok shout out the way. We are live on my TikTok at Ray the Iconic Status. This is where the journey begins, and we got the Cultural Influence Titantron right here. So, Richie, as we talking about stories and stuff like that. Shout outs to Jesus Garcia. I see you and stuff like that. But, Richie, as we're talking about stories, we'll just glance at the Cultural Influence Titantron and kind of talk about some things here. You feel me? But anyway, for those of you that are just checking us out on TikTok Live, I'm doing this episode. It's the Money in the Bank preview. And right now, we just got done recording our pre-taped version. So, guys, just check it out later on. It'll be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. The video version will obviously be on YouTube. But, Richie, we're going to reach this part of Cultural Influence. It's where we go over the hottest stories in all of professional wrestling. It's called Hot Tags. So, Richie, let's get it started.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and start hot tags off with Forbidden Door. Now, as of this recording, they have just announced that.
Thank you, Tony Khan. Thank you, Tony Khan.
Shout outs to happy birthday to Mackenzie. Shout outs.
Happy birthday, G.
Follow us on Cultural Influence
Gemini
at
gang.
YouTube. Yeah, for sure. Happy birthday, Mackenzie. Make sure you follow us on Cultural Influence. But let's go ahead. We're getting distracted here. Mackenzie, let's talk about Forbidden Door. So, Richie just started off giving a big thank you.
Thank you, Tony Khan. We are not worthy.
Hashtag TYTK.
Bro, I swear to God, thank you, Tony Khan. Like, hey, yo. Everybody and they mama have asked for this match the moment Bryan Danielson left WWE, bro.
They did, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it hasn't really worked out. The cards never really aligned. He got concussed last year and all that good stuff. But this year, Tony Khan knows what the streets need, and he's going to inject it in our veins at Forbidden Door. I cannot wait.
But Okada is one of my favorite New Japan Pro wrestlers. Bryan Danielson, it's a long time coming, and I thought it would be one of those matches that would need to take place on New Japan soil.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it would take, because didn't he mention something about him going to,
he wants to be in the G1, apparently.
Okay, so he did want to do that.
Yeah, so him being in G1 will be lit. I mean, I guess Eddie Kingston is a good substitute, man. But, you know, no, I'm just joking. Because Eddie Kingston put Jay White out of New Japan, so, you know what I'm saying? He got some...
Eddie Kingston putting everybody on out there.
Yeah, you know, but... Man, there's no words to say how excited I am for this match. And if Forbidden Door wasn't an instant buy for you, it definitely is now. You know,
yeah, for sure.
Because me and you, we're going to a show that day. We're going to a live local show in the city, and I promise you, we are racing home to catch Forbidden Door. I know everybody out there is excited about it as we are. And on top of that match, we got the rematch between the already match of the year. Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega.
Yes, sir.
Man,
I'm excited about that one.
Come on, man. You know those boys are about to go crazy. With those two matches right there, we already got the card of the year, right?
Yeah, for sure. How you think? But with that being said, do you think how can they match the Wembley energy? Because in my honest opinion, Forbidden Door should be at Wembley. You know?
I mean, at this point, that would be the card, but like, I don't. It's going to. Everything that's going to happen at Wembley is going to be lit anyway. You know what I'm saying? So this would be a great follow-up. You know, like this card is going to be so good. It doesn't need one of the most raucous crowds in the world, you know?
Agree.
Because those matches are going to make the crowd raucous as fuck anyway, so.
For sure. Yeah. Like, I think, like, you know, once again, that card is obviously New Japan and AEW stars. So it's like AEW already has a shitload of talent. So it's like, okay, how are you going to mix that in with New Japan stars? Because, you know, you gotta feature Samoa Joe, you gotta feature Adam Cole, you gotta feature Keith Lee. How you gonna feature those guys and then feature a good chunk of New Japan guys?
I mean, you gotta get your good verses. It's like the Marvel versus Capcom of the wrestling world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I can't think of any matches off top that besides the top two that we already have announced that I want.
Wrestling fans only. But let's go ahead and get to our next hot story. Once again, guys, check us out on YouTube. You can find the full recorded version of this podcast on our YouTube at Cultural Influence. And I just also forgot to mention, Cultural Influence is its own TikTok. So please check out the Cultural Influence TikTok. Just type in Cultural Influence. You should find us. It's relatively new to TikTok. It's not on the iconic status wave just yet. But, you know, I'm trying to capitalize on it just like that. So be sure and check us out like that. So, yeah, but our next story, let's go ahead and talk about views, because I'm seeing these views go up a little bit. We had 3, but don't worry, I haven't been on TikTok in a while, so you know the algorithm's a little off here. But let's go ahead and talk about views up all for wrestling, because apparently AEW did close to 1 million.
Yeah, man. That double or nothing boost really helped last week's ratings. Everything went all up. They had a great pay-per-view on top of that, man. It was
they did
really good show. Raw yesterday was up as well. You know, they did really well, and then SmackDown did gangbuster numbers. The segment with Roman alone did 2.9 million.
That just goes to show you, man, when Roman is on air with his family, you know, people shut up and watch.
Yeah. He is the draw, the biggest draw of wrestling right now.
Of course.
It's hard to deny that, you know. And I'm eating out the palm of his hands with the story going on. You know, I was on the edge of my seats when the Usos came out, you know?
Yeah, for sure. There's this part, I think we talked about it earlier, but like where Jey Uso breaks character a little bit after Solo Samoan spikes him in the throat. I thought that was pretty hilarious, man. The
conflict between him and Jimmy is really cool looking. I was really worried about how they were going to keep Roman interesting going towards, you know, the rest of the year, but boy, have they done a really good job. But let me ask you a question. Let me ask everybody out there a question. What do you guys think of that new undisputed WWE 7-Eleven 365 European Universal Championship. But what do you think of the new belt design?
What do I think of the new belt design? I don't know, man. I'm kind of mid in it. You know, like I think like I don't want to be one of those negative people, which is why I hate doing live streams as I'm watching live stuff, because like things change.
Yeah.
I think like they're kind of playing out this design for a little bit, you know, because I think like the spinner belt didn't last this long. It didn't.
It lasted a while. You know, like 05 to what? 2013, 14?
13.
Okay.
13. So I think this design is slowly getting played out because I just don't remember the spinner belt lasting this long. So I feel like it might have overstayed its welcome to a certain degree.
Yeah. I just feel like they could have done something a little more classier, but I get it. Marketing, you know, they want that belt with the WWE symbol. Like when they give that belt to the winner of the NBA or the Super Bowl, that's going to scream WWE right there. You know what I'm saying?
So that's why they do that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a big marketing tool, man. Whoever carries that, it's the brand of WWE. It's not just a championship-looking belt.
Yeah,
you know,
you hated it.
Yeah, I didn't like it. But for some reason, I don't know. When the light hit it differently, I guess I don't know. It kind of grew on me by the end of the segment, but I mean, I wasn't expecting anything else either, because I didn't expect them to really change the design of it. They had the red, they had the black, they had the blue, so it only makes sense for it to be gold at this point, right? Yeah. And I saw Roman trying to make it look cool in his pictures. It just, looks like the McDonald's championship a little bit.
That yellow, I didn't even think about that, because that yellow behind it does kind of
with the red swoop,
WWE. I thought I kind of appreciated the creative direction with the black diamonds, because I don't think a WWE championship has black diamonds in it.
Like I said, some of it was kind of on point, but they could have changed it, man. Like they could have gave us a whole new design, especially with them putting two freaking titles together. You have the WWE championship, and they haven't even explained if they're going to end the lineage of it yet.
I mean, I think they're ending the lineage of the Universal title. I know that's for sure. I think that's like not even up for discussion at this point.
Yeah, it had a good run. Pour one out for the Universal Championship.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Rest in peace. But in some other wrestling news, another hot tag that we got to get to. Let's talk about Braun Strowman. He had neck fusion surgery.
Yeah.
And guys, as of this recording, I don't want to alarm anybody or alarm anything or just give out bad news, anything, but he is out of the hospital. He had a successful surgery, so Braun Strowman is out of the hospital.
Okay.
So what's y'all like, I didn't know so I don't know, I'm not a health major here or anything like that, but you can have neck surgery without legitimately having a neck injury. Is that what I'm assuming? Because I don't know. I don't think Braun Strowman, was there a certain match that he had where he took a bump and he like messed up his neck or something like that?
Well, he was also a super powerlifter years before getting into WWE.
He was.
So maybe he just, it's just compound, years of putting heavy weights on you, then years of getting slammed on your back and head, So I'm just glad he didn't have to have a catastrophic injury or, get carried out in a stretcher for everybody to know that he needed surgery.
Exactly. Yeah.
He just kind of disappeared, and then there was a rumor that came out that he was on the disabled list and there was no timetable for his return. But then you find out he's about to have neck fusion surgery. I mean, between him, Bobby Roode.
I was just about to say something, because Robert Roode's been on the shelf for like the last year, and he hasn't had like.
He had to have another surgery, I think.
He had to have another surgery.
I think he did.
Wow. And I don't think he had an injury at like an in-ring injury.
Exactly.
That's what it is, an in-ring injury. That's the word I'm looking for.
I think Kyle O'Reilly is out with a neck fusion surgery as well.
Did Tommaso Ciampa, did he? Okay, I remember he got spinal stenosis, but it's not as severe.
Yeah, now, I believe Sheamus does too.
Yeah. So, but there wasn't those injuries wasn't in-ring, correct?
No, that there's just spinal degeneration that kind of happens. I mean, Sting allegedly has it too, and he was jumping off of barricades and stuff last year.
Yeah, man. Y'all say a prayer for Sting, man.
Yeah. Pregnancy bug has hit all of wrestling, y'all. Everybody seems to be having kids. But one thing I can say about Ty Mello is that she didn't come into contact with Asuka.
Yeah, nobody's ready for Oscar, man. Y'all better tell Bianca to lay low.
You better tell Bianca to lay low because everybody that comes near her is getting pregnant. Shout outs to Carmella. Shout outs to Alexa Bliss.
Facts.
You know?
Yeah. Alexa Bliss. I can only.
Lacey Evans got pregnant too after a feud with
Bianca. Yeah. Hey, man, I can only imagine all the heartbreak that men are going through right now with Alexa Bliss being pregnant. Because a lot of guys, white guys, should I say? Because I'm not that moved by Alexa. It's just my honest.
She's cute.
She's cute. Don't get me wrong, but man, I think. I know this meme is paid out, but y'all know that author meme with the fist.
Yeah. It's definitely a bunch of dudes that never had a chance that are pissed off somewhere. But.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
But congratulations to all the expecting mothers. I don't think I've ever seen this many women in wrestling have babies like in the middle of their careers,
Yeah, what I think is crazy though is like I just want to shout out and hell, I guess put over Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins because their parents on the road.
Hey, though you cannot forget The Way. Johnny Gargano.
Oh yeah, baby wrestling.
Baby wrestling.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They are normalizing having kids and coming back and being great in the wrestling business, and I think it's pretty damn dope because being a mom is a hell of a job. And who's to say that if you can't be a mom, you can't go out and kick some ass on top of that?
On me, yeah. Because I think when they were in Saudi Arabia, they had did it was on Becky's Instagram. She had posted a picture of Seth and the baby in the elevator, and I'm like, yo, they really are traveling with this baby. Like,
yeah, hey, listen, the next generation is coming up, man.
Hey, I'm telling y'all, man. We talking about Roman's 1,000-day title run,
man. And Roman got a whole bunch of kids, so the next generation has been secured at this point.
Oh, for sure. Well, guys, that's it for Hot Tag. Thank y'all for checking us out on Instagram Live. Shout outs to Jared Russell. Shout outs to all 7 viewers that are watching us here. Shout outs to Will and Thompson. Shout outs to Steph that just joined. Make sure you follow us on Cultural Influence at YouTube. Follow us on Cultural Influence on Instagram, Cultural Influence 405. And of course, follow the TikTok. But if you want to stay with the Ray the Iconic status, TikToks, more TikTok videos from this channel will be coming. But as you guys can see, I haven't been posting on here. That's because I've been working on this podcast right here. So attention shifts, but don't worry, I will be back on some more fun videos on this TikTok page alone. Thank y'all for watching. Shout outs to Maya Richardson once again, Centennial alumni. I gotta definitely shout y'all out, you know what I'm saying? But until next time, we'll catch y'all later.
What's up, guys? On this episode of Cultural Influence Shortz, it's Money in the Bank season. So we're trying to, get into the festive mood and everything. So I got my brother over here, Ray. We're going to be naming a couple of the Money in the Bank winners. We're going to see if he can name the first 5 winners of Money in the Bank.
All right.
So you ready, Ray?
Let's get it.
Let's get it.
All right. So 2005, we talked about it earlier. Definitely Edge, the first Money in the Bank winner, okay? So we're going to the year 2006. That is when WrestleMania went big time and all of that type of good stuff. Believe it was RVD. Was RVD the second winner?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So where are we? 2007. Okay. 2007 was WrestleMania 23. Obviously, that was when they were in Detroit. Oh my gosh.
Is that Detroit?
That was Detroit. It wasn't CM Punk. Oh, Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah.
Okay, it was Mr. Kennedy. Yep. Okay, so with that being said, after Mr. Kennedy, we're in 2008. Where am I at? I'm on the third winner, right? I'm on the
fourth winner.
I'm on the fourth winner. Ooh, I'm almost there. So that goes to, that's easy. CM Punk. CM Punk. Let's get it. Wait, huh?
After Mr. Kennedy was somebody else.
Edge.
Yep.
You gonna really hold that against? All right, we'll put that on.
Because he's listed as number 4.
Oh my gosh. Well, there you guys have it right there. Well, all right, guys, we're all out of time. Thank you for joining in on the Money in the Bank edition of Cultural Influence. Shout outs to TikTok. Shout outs to those that joined us. Shout outs to my boy Jared Russell. Shout outs to Maya Richardson once again, Centennial alumni. It's been a very fun episode. You can expect this episode on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, man. And also, this next episode we're going to do is going to be an NBA finals edition. So this green might be turned into orange, you know what I'm saying, for the basketball. We're going to have fun with this episode. We're going to combine two of my favorite things into one episode. And surprisingly, a lot of wrestling fans are NBA fans. So yeah, and then also at the Oklahoma Pop Culture Con, any Oklahomies here, please, we will be there. You will see our first ever podcast flyers. So please, you know, come up to us, say what's up, because we will have them in here. Just spread them out to the friends, because cultural influence is going places, baby. So, you know, just thank you for joining us on the journey. And until next time, I'm Ray.
Richie, we out.